Are we not, in the end, men with a need to impregnate as many women as possible? We are, but we have a dual strategy when it comes to children. We are not exclusively that. We also have paternal instincts, which say that when we recognize that a child is ours, we should stick around and provide for that child to ensure that he survives. Because if you're just going around impregnating as many women as possible, trying to play the numbers game, you may find that you've impregnated 10 women who, without a man in their lives, aren't able to actually sustain the child through breast milk or just building shelters so the child doesn't die of pneumonia or whatever diseases you catch from being out in the elements. And so evolution, because it wants our genes to survive, has also put inside men that instinct to care and protect for our children. I personally don't think it's as strong as the maternal instinct. I think that we're a little bit more split, and that we also have that desire to just have sex and novelty, because that's also an effective strategy, but we are not exclusively that. And so it really becomes the question of which one of these two biological instincts do you want to follow? From a biological perspective, perhaps both are equally valid. You might even say that the just spread your seed as far as wide as possible is more valid. But I don't judge my life purely on biological means. I think it's important to be aware of the biological factors, but what's important to me is that I'm happy. And so the most pertinent question here is, what is more likely to make me happy? Just having sex with lots and lots of women, or cultivating a deep, loving relationship with one woman, a high-quality woman, and raising children together as a team with her? Listening to the abbot of a monastery once give a lecture to young boys, and he was talking about meditation. And one of the boys asked, isn't it boring? And he said, no, when you reach a deep, deep level of meditation, it's the most pleasurable thing you can imagine. Like, all you young boys, you probably masturbate and have orgasms. And everybody in the crowd laughed and jittered, a bit nervously. And he said, yeah, well, for a monk who's gone really, really deep, meditation is more pleasurable than orgasm. And I understand what he's talking about, because naturally I'm sure he's not going through the same dopamine release constantly that an orgasm is. But the thing about an orgasm is it's a really, really intense peak. And it's like, oh, that pleasure. But then it fades away. And sometimes you actually feel worse afterwards. You've just lost some of your semen, unless you're doing the whole tantric semen retention thing. But with meditation, it's more like a slow burn, It's just a pleasure that is always gradually increasing. This is how it is with a long-term relationship. If you're doing it right, your pleasure should continue to increase and increase and increase. Now, it's true what he says. After a few years, most men have lost love/passion for their wives. But my argument is that they're not doing it correctly. I've said before.